A very good evening to you and welcome to Primetime News live from the News First Centre in Colombo. I'm Nadim Majid.
I'm Stephanie Lazarus. Before we go into your stories in detail, let's take a look at the headlines.
Headlines on News First at 9.
Venerable Theripahe Siridamathera returns to Ratapaswala. Another 6 persons hand themselves over to the police over the attack in Mathura. Tonight on Action TV, those responsible for child abuse at a boys' home in Vaunia still at large.
Taking a look at those stories in detail, Venerable Theripahe Siridamathera returned to Ratapaswala today.
The Thera's return followed allegations that the monk who gave leadership to protests during the Ratapaswala water crisis had abandoned the area.
Venerable Theripahe Siridamathera of the Galloluwa Sambuddha Jayanti Vihare in Valley said yesterday that he would be returning to Ratapaswala. I am returning to Ratapaswala and I am not going back for nothing. We will go in procession from the Balum Mahara Junction to the Ratapaswala Public Sports Ground. This will be an opportunity for my people to take any decisions. I invite all the people to come there, even if they are carrying small stones to pelt at Siridamathera. I have not done any act of sabotage. This is what the politicians are doing. If you have concluded that I am in the wrong, then you can hack me to pieces in the middle of the Ratapaswala Public Sports Ground. Following the statement, Venerable Theripahe Siridamathera returned to Ratapaswala today after a lapse of 8 days. Venerable Theripahe Siridamathera commenced a procession this morning from the Balum Mahara Junction to the Ratapaswala Sports Ground. A group of residents who were faced with the water crisis charged at a discussion held on the 11th of this month that Venerable Theripahe Siridamathera had abandoned the village. However, speaking to the media from Kandy, Venerable Theripahe Siridamathera said that he had visited Kandy to attend a funeral. While the Thera was returning to Ratapaswala today, he encountered protests at some locations along the route.
The Thera was not involved in the water problem at first. He intervened midway, and after what happened, no one accepts the Thera.
We treated him like a god and gave him our support. Through some force or the other, he distanced himself from us. He distanced himself and then started blaming us for various things. Regardless of the protest, the monk arrived at the Ratapaswala Sports Ground and following religious observances at the shrine there, he engaged in discussions. During the discussion, the group, including journalists that gathered there, posed several questions to the Thera. The truth is that I reject all those allegations. If someone says that I did so, then they must prove it. Yes, I spoke with Minister Sarana Gunawardena, but we did not reach a resolution.
Venerable
Theripahe Siridamathera will continue to work for the people and is prepared to sacrifice his life for the people. Whether the factory will be reopened or not is a matter that we have to reach an agreement on with the people. Definitely, I will remain with the people as Siridamathera has done in the past. Subsequently, the monk left for the Vihare.
The low-pressure system which emerged over the Bay of Bengal has moved away from the island.
That's right. Now, the Met Department, however, notes that although the low-pressure system will not affect the island, persisting southwesterly winds could cause showers or thunder showers in southwestern parts of the island in the evenings or at night. Rainy weather conditions were experienced in numerous parts of the island as a result of the low-pressure system which emerged over the Bay of Bengal. Polonnaruwa, which was recently affected by drought, also received heavy rainfall, and the rains caused an increase in the water levels of several reservoirs. The highest rainfall reported in the 24 hours ending at 8:30 this morning was from Ambepussa, which recorded 103 millimeters of rainfall. As a result of the heavy rains, numerous incidents of trees being uprooted and homes being damaged were reported from across the island. The wall of the head office of the National Water Supply and Drainage Board in Kahawatta had collapsed onto an adjacent house last night. The inhabitants of the house had left prior to the incident owing to the danger. Traffic flow on the Kurunagala-Dambulla main road was disrupted as a result of a tree which fell across the road in Pollattapitiya, Kurunagala. Meanwhile, the Met Department forecast showers or thunder showers in the evening or at night in the western, Sabragamo central and southern provinces. The Met Department notes that thunder showers may be accompanied by temporary localized strong winds and that there is a risk of lightning-related accidents. President Mahinda Rajapaksa says that the present government has taken the initiative of building knowledge by considering it as a part of national development. The President expressed this sentiment at the opening ceremony of the first Nanotechnology Centre of Excellence and Science Park.
The newly built Nanotechnology Centre is located in Pitipana, Homagama. 2,081.5 million rupees was invested in the centre by the government and the private sector. The aim of the centre is to identify problems in the agriculture, sanitation and water purification sectors and to provide solutions with the use of nanotechnology. The centre will also facilitate research and the creation of natural raw material with the use of nanotechnology.
Another 6 persons wanted in connection to the attack on a procession that was held recently, calling on Ranil Wickremesinghe to step down as UNP party leader, turned themselves over to the police today. Meanwhile, 47 individuals who were arrested in connection to the attack were released on bail today.
Police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohana said the 6 persons had turned themselves over to the Mathura police today through a lawyer. Suspects connected to the attack in Mathura were produced before the Mathura Chief Magistrate. Here, the magistrate ordered for 47 suspects to be released on sureties of 100,000 rupees each. In addition, the magistrate ordered for them to appear before the Mathura police from between 9 a.m. and 12 noon on every Sunday of the month. The individuals released on bail were also ordered to be present in court once again on the 25th of this month. Furthermore, the 6 suspects who turned themselves over to the police today were released on sureties of 100,000 rupees each. The 3 suspects who surrendered to the police last evening were also released on bail after being produced in court.
Ada Sudat Chandrasekhara Kitsiri Katapitiya.
Today, Sudat Chandrasekhara and Kitsiri Kahtapitiya, close associates of Ranil Wickremesinghe, were rescued in court by President's Counsel Tilak Marapana and President's Counsel Srinath Pereira. They had a team of prominent lawyers representing them to bail out Ranil Wickremesinghe's henchmen. However, the other group of about 50 people who were misdirected and made to attack UNP supporters themselves are the people who have always received stepmotherly treatment from Ranil Wickremesinghe. Every day, it is one way for the big shots and another way for the small man. Bigwigs like Mangala Samaraweera are free on bail. Mangala Samaraweera said that Maitri Gunaratna's father was a presidential advisor. I wish to say to Mangala Samaraweera that the so-called presidential advisor is still in remand custody.
Maitri Gunaratnage තාත්තා ජනාධිපති උපදේශක කියලා. ජනාධිපති උපදේශක මංගල සමරවීරට කියන්න ඕනේ තාමත් රිමාන්ඩ්.
Minister Dallas Alaha Peruma says the attack on an unarmed group in the Mathura town has tainted the greatness of Mathura.
අපි අද මාතර දේශපාලඥයෙක්ට ගරු බුහුමන් දක්වන වෙලාව.
Today, politicians from Mathura are respected and honoured. We say with pride that Mathura is the city of greatness. However, footage on a serious attack on an unarmed group put a question mark on the greatness of Mathura. The way I see it, you have a different issue and a different crisis. You cannot find a solution to it with polls, and we too cannot provide solutions to this. The United National Party should unite.
The minister expressed these views at a felicitation ceremony held for newly appointed Deputy Minister of Postal Services Sanat Jayasuriya. Deputy Minister Sanat Jayasuriya also addressed the gathering.
I have reiterated that one should be with the people to engage in politics. One must work for the people. People have many hopes. Therefore, we must always attempt to discuss with the political authorities and fulfill the hopes of the people to the best of our abilities.
Addressing an event held in Kegaon today, Chief Minister of the Sabaragama province, Mahipala Herath, reflected on the UNP of the past and UNP of the present.
The United National Party, which boasted of names such as D.S. Senanayaka, Dudley Senanayaka, Sir John Kotalawala, J.R. Jayawardena and Premadasa, has fallen into disarray today. It is like a cemetery now. There are no positions to give away. They are fighting amongst themselves. How can a party leader who cannot build his party build a nation and govern a nation? UNP parliamentarian Sajid Premadasa meanwhile says that if the people believe that it is time for him to retire from politics, then he is prepared to do so. He expressed these views at an event held in Galgamuwa. I respect the people's consensus. If the people ask me to go higher, then I will do so. If the people say that I am not suitable and that I should go home, I am prepared for that. If they tell me that I am not suitable for either and that I should retire permanently, then I am prepared for that too. My friends, I would derive the greatest pleasure and I have the greatest greed to serve the people of this historic nation. I do not have greed for the positions of Prime Minister or President. If anyone thinks that they should remain here wearing crowns and warming chairs, then I request them to please not do an injustice to the supporters of the UNP. Today we will build a force in the United National Party of mighty elephants who can put their right foot forward and defeat this visionless government in elections. The UNP has decided to vote against legislation that would pave the way for casinos to be established in Sri Lanka.
UNP parliamentarian Joseph Michael Pereira expressed the party's stance on the matter during a media briefing held in Colombo today.
During the last UNP parliamentary group meeting, we reached a decision. The government is attempting to create a large-scale casino network in the country which could harm our culture. Taking this into consideration, the UNP decided to oppose this legislation. We agreed that UNP parliamentarians would oppose it. Gambling will soon be followed by prostitution, and all of this will come under the guise of tourism. They are preparing to legalize prostitution. The parliamentarians are behaving like scarecrows. They do whatever the president says. If they hold a secret ballot in this regard, some of these parliamentarians will oppose this move and the government might lose. Casinos, gambling, prostitution and alcohol became widespread as a result of the economic policy of the UNP government in 1978. The present government is enacting the same economic policy. Without even changing it by a drop, the present government is implementing the economic policy of the United National Party better than the UNP did. The result of this was the discovery of large stocks of heroin which were brought to Sri Lanka. Therefore, instead of shouting like fools, crying, ranting and raving, what they should do is change this economic policy and this system. We do not believe that the country can be freed from the casinos and gambling that are destroying this country and the economy without changing this system.
The first ever irrigation museum was declared open today at the Mahaveli Center in Colombo.
The Irrigation Museum was declared open by the Minister of Irrigation and Water Management, Nima Siripala de Silva.
Many people in this country are of the view that tourists should be attracted to the country through casinos and other means. Yes, it is necessary for certain tourists. However, our country's culture and history and the hospitality of our people who always have a smile on their faces should be the focal point of our country's tourism industry.
ව්‍යාපාර මුල් ස්ථාන බවට අපි පත් කරගන්නට ඕන.